What is going on, ballers? Welcome back to Ballers on a Budget. My name is Corey, and on the other side of the Zoom call, we got your boy Cody.
What up?
Just bought a weird ass lamp. Yeah.
Look, it has Browns, which represents what I bleed, and then it has like mini antlers on it, which is like representing little death. Awesome.
So what he's saying is his lamp doesn't make any sense. But anyways, we're gonna jump back in to these NFL rosters, what they did over the off season, what they did during the draft. Let's just continue to talk about them. We are going to jump into finally the greatest division in football, the AFC North, and start with the Baltimore Ravens, my second favorite team. Obviously, no change up at quarterback.
Yeah, you're not going to change Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Got Trace McSorley in there, who's going to maybe be in there when Lamar gets injured for a game, I would assume. Not even a full game. He's going to do what he did before, run to the locker room and poop a couple more times. But no, Lamar's injury risk is high. Obviously, it's Lamar. He's a running quarterback. But he doesn't seem to stay out. So, yeah, he's going to be the main guy for this team. Moving down the line.
Says here he got 26 touchdowns and 9 interceptions last year. Pretty good, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, sacked 29 times, though.
Sacked 29, you said?
Yeah.
I want to know how many of those are out of pocket.
Yeah.
Those are out of fucking pocket sacks. But Lamar did actually have over 1,000 rushing yards as well, which is incredible.
That's nuts.
For a QB, only a couple have even done it in history. Cam Newton being one of them. There's a couple more. I don't want to dig into them or Google it. And son of a bitch, I just exited out of that Google page.
Right. But yeah, like I said, no change there. Gus Bus agreed to a 2-year extension worth $10 million.
Be a backup to J.K. Dobbins,
which he played very well. I don't know. I see it in yards. I mean, yards, they're very close. Dobbins had 805. Edwards had 723. Obviously, that good competition can change at any moment who the starter is.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins is intriguing, though. He's insanely young. He's from Ohio State, so obviously I'm a fan of him, not the team. So him. I'll look at him. I'll see his stats. He's doing good, blowing up. Awesome. I love when OSU alums do great no matter where they go. Look at Mike Thomas. But it also sucks when you see it and he's on the Ravens and he's doing good on a Ravens team, which preferably I like to see do bad. But that's my conundrum there. You're my wide receiver, I would say.
Yeah. Speaking of wide receivers, Sammy Watkins signed to a 1-year, $6 million, $5 million fully guaranteed deal.
He's not going to get it done. You obviously got Marquise Brown, their number one, had almost 800 yards, 8 touchdowns. So in Mark Andrews, he's going to be – is he still with the team?
I believe so.
I believe so, too. I didn't scroll. Yeah, he still is.
I haven't heard otherwise, yeah.
Exactly. So he will be vying for number one as well. They kind of – I don't know. It was – frustrating having Mark Andrews in fantasy because he would blow up hugely for 2 or 3 games in a row and then go dead for 2 in a row or so. It just all depends on the day and the game plan, it seems, to where Lamar will kind of run out of the pocket, do his work with his feet, and then get a little dump off pass to Mark Andrews somewhere for 10 yards. I think it just depends on obviously, it's going to depend on the quarterback of the team to get the ball to the tight end or the receiver. But Lamar Jackson's a hard guy to pick who he's going to choose to throw to. Obviously, deep, it's going to be Brown. But anything short, it could be Snead. It could be Mark Andrews. It could be J.K. Dobbins or Gus Bus. Rashad Bateman is the guy they just drafted in the first round from Minnesota. So, I mean, to say a conundrum, they got talent there. But fantasy-wise, it's going to be – obviously Marquise Brown and Andrews are going to go. They're going to go on teams, even in deep teams, short teams, whatever you want to call them. 8-man teams, our pathetic leagues. Those are the ones I'm talking about.
Hey, it's a 10-man this year.
Yeah, we're moving on up, boy.
Trying to be 11.
Willie Snead, Boykin, even Gus Edwards, I don't see being good fantasy-wise. But as a team, yeah, they got talent there, that's for sure. It's frustrating as a Cleveland fan, too. But
oh, absolutely. Moving on to tight end position, acquired in a trade from the Jaguars for a conditional pick, Josh Oliver. But you already said it. Mark Andrews is crazy phenomenal on this team. He knows how to work this system. Obviously, he's not. I don't even think he'll be number 2. He'll still be sitting behind Boyle.
I think the only time they're going to bring him in is for a little breather for Andrews, who seems pretty young and seems willing to get out there every damn time he can, or in the 2 tight end set where it's a lot of blocking. So, yeah, yes. I don't see him doing much at all. Moving on to that, in the second and third round, they did draft some O-line. I'm not going to mention some O-line.
They did draft O-line. I'm not talking about it.
I think they're defensive linemen. What do you want me to say? They had a decent line last year.
I'll tell you what you can say.
About it because they did have some signings. So I do know.
Yeah, signings-wise, they took my boy Alejandro Villanueva to a 2-year, $14 million deal. So he went from the Steelers to he went down a peg in my book, I guess. But I love the dude. He's playing for the Ravens now.
But
he will kill it for him.
He was good in his prime, but I think it's just he's older, and it's just still not the protection you want for a guy who's going to scramble a lot. Ronnie Staley's injured. Ben Cleveland is injured. Oh, I should click into those. I know I said I wasn't going to talk about offensive line.
Yeah, they did sign Jawan James and Kevin Zeitler on offense as well.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy. I don't really know who those people are. So,
used to play for the Browns. He's a good blocker. But they got a decent line. I just don't think it's going to be enough for Lamar Jackson. You already said it. He got sacked 27 times, you said? 29 times.
Yeah,
29 times, which isn't an awfully high amount for any quarterback. But this is because we're talking about Lamar Jackson. He can escape nearly anything you throw at him. And he's not going to be in the pocket 90% of the time anyways. So where this good blocking is going to come in is going to be the first 2 or 3 seconds off of the snap. But moving on. Let's move on. I'm done talking about offensive line. Even for the Browns, man. That's all I hear about the Browns. I'm a huge Cleveland Browns fan. But that's all you heard about the offseason was, offensive line's number 1. Offensive. That's cool. I love that we have a line that can protect the quarterback, but it's just like a kicker. We're not going to talk about him. It is important. I'm not going to lie. Offensive line is important. But I'm going to dive into all that stuff later and rate each team's offensive line, defensive line, backfield, quarterback, skilled position, shit like that, and lines. But I'm tired of talking about it. I've heard too much about offensive lines this year already, and it's not even preseason.
All right, so Cody's pissed. Let's get off of offense. I'm just going to read you through some defense.
Defense is where I'm going to love to talk about because their defense amazes me anyways.
Yeah, just some quick notes here. Tyus Bowser, Parnell McPhee, Justin Ellis, Derek Wolfe. You got L.J. Fort, Justin Houston, and Anthony Levine. all agreed, signed, re-signed, yada yada.
A lot of big signings. McPhee, Bowser, those are all people I like. They're young. The defense looks very scrappy. As much as I don't like Marlon Humphreys, he's a great corner. They got the old aging Chuck Clark as like a little security blanket in the safety. Patrick Queen, I wish and I begged for the Browns to take him, a linebacker at LSU. He did great last year with 106 total tackles. As a rookie, looks like a beast out there. LJ Ford is good as always. Marcus Peters is a lockdown corner. We all know this. Matt Judon. Their linebacking core is just crazy good. I love it. And their corners, they got two great corners in Marlon Humphreys and Marcus Peters. Like, it's one of the best defenses in the league, I think.
I wonder if there's any. There's not.
Obviously, the Buccaneers would be. I would put Bucks number 1 and this team number 2, honestly, in defensive rankings. I really would. This team's just young, scrappy. They're fast. It just halftime. It looks like they're looking for a fight.
Yeah, I agree. They pretty much. Obviously, they've gotten a little better. I don't think they've gotten a whole lot better than what they were last year.
No, but I think some of the young people, aging-wise, like you mature a little bit more. Hopefully, Patrick Queen's taking in that team captain role a little bit easier this year. Obviously, not going to push him into a captain role rookie year, but he's that type of talent. He's going to be the captain eventually. He's going to take this team, and he's going to stay with this team.
I agree. Basically, what I'm saying is I'm familiar with their roster now. We can move on.
Yeah. Best kicker in the league, Justin Tucker. We know that. Ravens are just going to be that fucking pain in the ass gnat that hangs around all season just to get eliminated in the playoffs. By yours truly, if need be. Not yours truly. I ain't eliminating shit. But, okay. Let's move on to the next team. Another team that we won't need to eliminate them from anything because they ain't making it to anything. But I do think they improve. The Cincinnati Bengals. Bungles. Whatever you want to call them.
I fucking hate that.
I don't know why anybody would call them a bungle. I don't get it. I don't understand.
It's stupid. You sound dumb. So
is it like, are you slighting them when you call them a bungle? Because I've heard Bengals fans call them the Bungles.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
I don't know what a bungle is, but I'm too afraid to Google it.
It sounds dirty. Stay away from it. The first re-signing that they have, QB Brandon Allen. I don't know why that's so crazy. I think Burrow was a little banged up going into training camp, but I didn't think it was anything crazy like to be worried about that he wasn't going to be starting.
Well, let's get one thing straight. With Burrow, this team's a 7, stretching maybe 8-win team.
Yeah.
Maybe. And that's me being generous.
Hard
if
maybe.
Goes out, Brandon Allen steps in for a couple games. They're losing every one of those games.
No, I completely agree.
Stacked enough to hold into games where their offense isn't producing a whole lot. And they don't have the star power elsewhere that's going to keep them afloat if the biggest star on this team, Joe Burrow, gets injured.
Well, and see, I don't agree with him being the biggest star on this team. I think Joe Mixon is the biggest star on this team.
Good. I think Joe Mixon's the biggest known star. Like, we know what Joe Mixon does. We know if you give him the ball, he's going to get it in if you put him in goal line positions. He's going to get the ball in. He's going to catch the ball out of the backfield if need be. He's the top tier running back, needless for me to say. But Joe Burrow, I think, is bigger and will be when he gets his reps. I know last year, I don't know how many games he played. I know he got injured toward the end of the year. So what? Mark him at around 14, 13 games. I think once he gets more and we know what this guy's about, we already know what he's about. They made him throw almost fucking 40 to 50 times a game last year.
I'd say that's a lot, but
it was crazy. It was Ben Roethlisberger reminiscent.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd say it's a lot, but I know it's really not.
But I think, Joe Burrow, I think he's the biggest star.
So right here, he played 10 games, 264 out of 404 completions, 65% completion rating, threw for a little over 2,600 yards, 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 32 sacks. That's where it's going to matter.
Yeah.
I thought Lamar's was a high number.
Yeah.
I lied.
That's why I said, like, it's not an insane amount. 29 for Lamar isn't. But needless to say, I didn't want to talk about a decent offensive line in the Ravens. I don't want to talk about an atrocious offensive line on the Bengals. We already talked about Joe Mixon. Joe Burrow, talked about that as well. Do we have any signings with the running backs? Because
Samaj P. Ryan.
Samaj P. Ryan.
Samaj, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. He's re-signed for a 2-year contract, and then you jump all the way to tight end. Thaddeus Moss, picked up off of waivers.
Okay.
But on a different note, they did lose Turf Toe Green.
Where did he go?
Where the fuck did he go?
I heard about that early on in free agency, but I didn't care to look at it because he's only going to play 6 games.
It was like Houston or something.
Oh,
Or not Houston. Cardinals. That's it.
yeah, I did hear about that. They're going to be good too.
I knew it was one of those teams getting pretty much everybody.
They got rid of a receiver, and they drafted a receiver in the first round, Jamar Chase out of LSU. Every time you mention somebody in the first round out of LSU in these past couple years, they're studs. Studs. LSU's been fucking pumping them out these past couple years. They're giving them steroids or something, man. Not right. He's doing. Ed Ogeron's fucking doing something. But
so you have Jamar Chase. Who else do you have? Tyler Boyd.
They're number 1.
Alex Erickson, who is low key actually not that bad, but you also have T. Higgins too.
Yeah, that's why this is what I want to get into. That's why I like this receiving core. They're young and they're so fast. Tyler Boyd, he's more of a reception type guy. We know what he would do in the absence of AJ Green. We yearned for that. Like if you had Tyler Boyd, Tyler Boyd, my bad. If you had Tyler Boyd, you low-key wanted AJ Green to be injured. So
absolutely.
All that receptions. But he's also got to share receptions with some young upcoming studs in, like I mentioned, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins out of Clemson. They're all young. They're all fast. And I love them. Auden Tate's not bad at all when he's needed to be put into the spot. He produced. And then you said Erickson. I don't even see it.
Alex Erickson. I'm looking at last year, so he might not be there anymore.
Alex Erickson isn't there. We'll cut that later.
But this is 2020. Yeah, this is the 2020 regular season. Obviously, this one's not completely updated.
Oh, okay. And then we get to tight ends, which their starting tight end right now is Drew Sample. And let me tell you, it's not going to end that way because they still have CJ Uzomah, who I thought when put in the spot was a mid-tier tight end.
I would agree.
But that still sucks because only the top 7 tight ends are even worth anything in the league. Okay? And that's, granted, this is coming from somebody who's sitting on a couch talking into a camera.
Yeah.
When I say bum, Still someone better than me. But when they drafted Thaddeus Moss, that was more of a you got to appease the greats, and it was Randy Moss's son. So
Yeah.
you take Thaddeus Moss. He did good in college. He didn't do bad, but he wasn't a crazy good stud in college, like you would have thought hearing that. Oh, it's Randy Moss's son. Yeah, he's Mossing everyone. He had a great, insane Moss-like catch though. That was incredible. But is there any re-signings in the offensive line?
Offensive line, Riley Reef signed for 1 year. Quentin Spain 1 year. That's pretty much it. Nothing too crazy for offensive lines. Defensive though gets a little better. Trey Hendrickson signed for 4 years, $60 million. Larry Ogunjobi 1 year deal. Mike Daniels.
Respect to Ogunjobi, man. I've watched him for many years. Like I'm alive, like I'm 50. Watched him for a good 4 or 5. Okay.
So still defense. Mike Daniels. You got Eli Apple playing for the Bengals now. Awuzie. My boy Mike Hilton. Richard Allen. Brandon Wilson. Clark Harris for a 1 year deal, and then a punter. Kevin Huber.
Not making too many moves. Their defense is lackluster at best. Their defensive line, I would say, is their strong point, and that's not even saying much. In coverage, you're dropping back Trey Waynes. I do want to point out, you pointed out Awuzie already. He's solid. Eli Apple is solid. So I guess their corners aren't bad either.
Mike Hilton, decent. He'll get burnt a couple times, but not bad.
Yeah, with these receivers in the league, man, you're going to get fucking burnt.
Yeah.
But that wraps up the Bengals in a nutshell. Like I said, 7, stretching it maybe 8 wins, and that's just because there's an extra game onto the season this year.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Let's go ahead and move on to your boy, your team.
To be Super Bowl champs.
No, they're not.
Cleveland Browns.
No, they're not. Be realistic.
Yeah, I'm being realistic.
No,
Okay,
you're fucking not.
we lost to the Chiefs, who almost beat the Super Bowl champs. So that makes us close thirds.
Yeah.
And then we did get a little bit better this year. We got ODB back and everything. And I think we're good. So,
You
you
can keep Odell Beckham in.
Math in my head.
You can keep Odell Beckham in, but he's only going to make your team worse. Has been for the last year.
For defense.
2 years.
When we injure Patrick Mahomes again and that backup has to come in, he's not going to be able to throw on it. John Johnson the third, man. Anthony Walker, a middle linebacker. Okay, we'll get into it. Let's start from the top.
Yeah.
Start from the top. And when I say top, I'm talking about top of the QB class. Baker Mayfield. White boy wonder.
Like when Drake says boy wonder, that's who I imagine.
No, because he's white.
Yeah, I know. When Drake says boy wonder, he is who I imagine. Baker Mayfield. That's him.
Baker Mayfield, baby, and backing him up, we got Case Keenum, which we won't need to back him up because Baker Mayfield is Iron Man himself. Nobody knows because of the suit. And then they just, when he opens his suit, they project Robert Downey's face onto it. That's really Baker Mayfield.
It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Running back, we probably have arguably the best duo in the league, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. All right, let me get into a little bit of stats real fast because I've been ignoring this stats page because I didn't care about the Ravens or Bengals. I know, bias. But Baker Mayfield threw for 3,500 yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. That's a phenomenal. I mean, it's not a phenomenal ratio. The low interceptions is nice, but you do want his touchdowns to be a little bit more. But that being said, we had one of the top running backs in the league, 2 of the top. We had Nick Chubb, who had 12 touchdowns, Kareem Hunt, who had 6. Nick Chubb got over 1,000 yards, and Kareem Hunt fell 150 short. We almost had 2 1,000-yard running backs. And behind him, we got Dearness Johnson. So we're backed up behind any injury as well. Any signings? I don't think so. Not yet.
Nothing as of now. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
I'm just kind of letting you do your thing on this one.
Yeah, this one I could.
Yeah.
Like, I got this shit.
Whenever you're done rattling off, I'll say who was re-signed, who was signed. You'll probably mention them.
We got ODB, who is back in action. Like Corey mentioned, he may be on the field. Hopefully, Baker doesn't get into the thing to where you got to get Baker, you got to get ODB involved. You got to get him involved. No, just let him be on the field and let his fucking talent be there to be picked when needed, because he should be showing his talent every single route. Now it's up to Baker to find him, but he can't find him every single fucking route. We got other talent elsewhere as well. So I think it'll play out this year. I think with Kevin Stefanski, I think he's smart enough to know, don't fucking just run 6 or 7 wide receiver screens to ODB just to get him a touch. It doesn't make any sense, but we're continuing. ODB, how many games did he play? He played 7 games last year.
Yeah, I was going to say about half.
Yeah, Jesus. I was surprised to even hear that. He only had 23 receptions. But then you get to the main man, who I still think is our number one, Jarvis Landry, 72 receptions, 840 yards. Only had 3 touchdowns, but that's because Baker was spreading it all over when he did reach the end zone. But granted, he did only have 28, so there's not a whole lot. When we got Rashad Higgins, I love him. I'm glad that he came back. He's a great number 3. Then behind him, we got, which is up for grabs, whoever you want to put behind who. We got Donovan Peoples-Jones, who surprised a lot of people, surprised me as well. I'm not going to say I didn't like him coming from Michigan, but, college biases transfer over, motherfucker. But Donovan Peoples-Jones, for being a Michigan guy, he made me proud being a Cleveland. And then we got Anthony Schwartz, who we drafted. I'm sorry. We did end up drafting. I don't know what pick we got him. I think the 2nd pick in the 1st round still. That's what I want to say, but I'm not 100% positive. No, we got him with the 3rd pick. In the 3rd round, we got Anthony Schwartz. And our 2nd was Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, however you say it. I'm sure I butchered it, but so it wraps up our wide receivers. We're 5 or 6 wide receivers deep. I love that. We even got Corey's boy Ryan Switzer now, insanely deep on the charts, who will probably be our punt return guy and stuff like he was for them.
Yeah.
Then we got our tight ends, but not back. Well, yeah, back. That's exactly what I should say. We got Austin Hooper, who's a dog. Harrison Bryant, who proved he's a great young guy. And then David Njoku, who is still bipolar and frustrates me, but he impresses me occasionally, so I'm glad he's number 3. Then we get into our offensive line, which I'm not getting into, aside from the fact of saying we have one of the best offensive lines. I know Ravens are up there too. I know, like I was mentioning Ravens, for how much Lamar runs, I don't think it's going to matter that much. But for Baker, who likes to stay in the pocket a little bit longer and take a couple more step backs and stuff, drop backs, I think this offensive line is going to be important to him, and staying healthy is important. Getting on to the defense, which we bolstered a lot of, we got Jadeveon Clowney, Andrew Billings, Malik Jackson, obviously one of the best defensive ends in the league, Myles Garrett, Tavares McKinley. I already mentioned our 2nd pick, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I doubt I'm saying that right, but I think I am. I doubt I am, but I feel like I'm reading it right. We signed middle linebacker Anthony Walker. We got Taki. We got Greedy Williams. We drafted a corner, Greg Newsome. We got Ronnie Harrison. We signed John Johnson the 3rd. We still got Grant Delpit, who's finally not going to be injured, who missed all last year. We signed Troy Hill. We got Denzel Ward. I can't stop. I will, because I'm sure I'm getting annoying. this team's incredible. And I know I was talking them up, Super Bowl, soon to be Super Bowl. But as a Browns, I'm not supposed to get my hopes up a lot, but this team is amazing. And I'm hoping it just stays that way. We do have a big blemish on our team, which is Cody Parkey, double doink himself.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you don't need to rely on kicks too much, but every team does. A lot of games come down to 3 or so points, so or even fucking 1.
Yeah.
We'll let Corey get into the signing details and then wrap up Cleveland and go to the Schittsburg.
I mean, you pretty much nailed everything in here. I don't think there was many that you missed. Rashard Higgins re-signed. JoJo Natson signed a free agent deal. Obviously, Jadeveon Clowney, I think, is a good pickup as long as he stays healthy. He only played, I think, like half the season last year.
You get 10 solid games out of him. Playoff time.
Malcolm Smith, linebacker, re-signed. Anthony Walker signed. You mentioned Troy Hill. And, yeah, I don't know if you mentioned John Johnson or not.
Yeah, but I personally think one of the biggest signings.
But yes, we got about 8 minutes. I'm just going to rattle through the Steelers real quick. Everybody pretty much knows the Steelers at quarterback. They haven't changed for fucking 15 years. Obviously, we got Mason Rudolph behind Big Ben, but we did re-sign Josh Dobbs, who looked pretty good. Got himself a touchdown in the Hall of Fame game. Kalen Ballage, at running back, coming off of Miami, got himself a touchdown in the Hall of Fame game. Ray McLeod agreed to a 1-year deal. Obviously, Juju Smith-Schuster, he decided to stay. Offensive line, Zach Banner re-signs. Trey Turner signs a 1-year deal.
Fast. Running back, I know you guys drafted Najee Harris, first pick. Great pick. Don't have Connor anymore, but I do not see Ballage on the depth chart at all. It goes straight to Anthony McFarland, Benny Snell, Jalen Samuels. Is he really put on the 4th or so on here?
Oh, I don't know where he's sitting at. I know they were all in the Hall of Fame game.
I thought he would be second, right behind Najee, but
Anthony McFarland kind of proved himself the other day, and then obviously you still got Samuels
and Snell. I mean, they're good backs. That's what they are. They're backup backs.
Yeah.
But I know Ballage can get in there good as a back. I don't know. As a Pittsburgh fan, I didn't know if you fucking heard anymore or if they was on the borderline cutting him or not. Or what.
No, I mean, unless they kicked him out after the Hall of Fame game, after his touchdown.
Okay.
But yeah, I haven't heard anything other than that. But yeah, a bunch of offensive line. I'm not going to get too crazy into it. One thing I did want to say, we do on defense. Obviously, we have one of the better defenses. Obviously, last year proved that.
I personally think your defense held you in 90% of those games.
Most sacks in the league, if I'm not mistaken, or pretty close to it. TJ Watt should have won Defensive Player of the Year, but whatever. I think it was Aaron Donald.
That's what I think. That's what I thought too.
But we did pick up Chris Wormley, re-signed him again. Picked up Melvin Ingram, signed him to a 1-year deal. This does say Vince Williams signed, and he did re-sign, but then shortly after he ended up retiring. Other than that, it's just a punter and kicker. I mean, this team it's going to be a difficult year for Steelers fans, I believe, but I don't think it'll be that bad. Honestly, I've been saying from the end of last year, I think we're finishing 3rd. Obviously, it'll be Ravens, Browns, us. Bengals ain't beating really nobody.
Getting in over Browns?
What?
The Ravens are getting in over Browns?
Yeah.
How much time we got left?
5 minutes.
You want to make a bet?
Yeah. And I just want to reiterate this bet when we do the the tier list.
Okay.
What's the bet?
I think Browns will ultimately finish higher in the standings.
I mean, that's literally what I just said. Then who?
Then the Ravens.
Oh, the Ravens?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I'll take it. I mean, what's the bet?
Sold. Okay, moving on.
Okay. Good deal. Let's go.
Good bet. That's a good bet.
That's why I don't buy new cars. I'm a terrible negotiator.
I'll think about that when I bought this lamp. I was like, I could probably talk him down to 65.
No, dude was just like, hey, it's got Browns on it. Cody's like, sold. Okay, well, we'll just make it this exactly what I was talking about earlier: a shot of apple cider vinegar and a pie to the face. By pie, I mean like a plate full of whipped cream. You don't have to bake an actual pie.
Yeah, dude, I'll say that'd be a waste.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of money.
I much prefer cleaning up just whipped cream than crust and everything else. Well, I ain't gonna lose. You're gonna want to do cleaning up. Bake yourself a pie if you fucking want. But yeah.
Yeah. So that was it.
You'll take a shot of wasabi or horse cum or whatever the fuck you say, and then get hit in the face with a fucking pie.
Fucking dead fish.
Oh, fuck that. Concussion. I'm getting slapped with a minnow then.
Shit. Okay, that was the best division in football, all wrapped up kind of in a hurry. We are going to go over this a little more in depth on what we think, where we're going to finish.
Yeah,
when we do,
because we're going to go over these teams again in a different roster type format, breaking it down even more. So
yeah, we'll predict like what we think they're going to do, and we'll both be at our whiteboards, and it'll just be a more in-depth video, probably a two-part video. But anyways, that was the AFC North. Let me check it off here. That was Cody on that side of the TV screen, whatever the hell you want to call it. My name was Corey. Appreciate you tuning in. Again, we are Ballers on a Budget, and we'll see you on the next one.
Be sure to like and subscribe. Follow all the social media. The links are in the description, yo.